Namaste Vanakkam. Today the auspicious birthday of Swami Shivananda Ji Maharaj. In the Ramakrishna order there is only one Mahapurush. Shivananda Ji is known as Mahapurush Maharaj. So why is Mahapurush? When we read his biography, we will come to know such a loving soul and completely he lived with the ideal. When we look at his life, some of the glimpses, it teaches so wonderful. There is a book everybody should read, For Seekers of God. So that book talks about the way he led his life, the way he has communicated the spiritual ideas to the people, how simple they are. So today we are going to see such a Mahatma who is Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda Ji Maharaj. Generally, we know that whenever there is a decline of dharma and the people are showing a lot of interest to follow dharma, so now and then the incarnations comes to this planet to set right the things. But we have not seen the Sri Ramakrishna. How we know? So through his apostles only we come to know about the greatness of the incarnation. These apostles or disciples only, they talk about how the incarnation, how he has uplifted the Sanatana Dharma, how he has lived up to the ideal, what way he has set right the things. Everything we will come to know about the incarnation through his apostles or disciples. So in the Ramakrishna order, none of us have seen the Sri Ramakrishna, but to know about Sri Ramakrishna, to understand Sri Ramakrishna, we have 16 disciples, how they have seen him. So through their biographies, through their sadhana, we come to know how Sri Ramakrishna was. So here in Mahapurush Maharaj, why this name has been given to him is one particular thing. We can say that he has maintained unbroken chastity. That is why he is Mahapurush. That is why he is known as Mahapurush Maharaj. And also, Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, one place he said, looking at his life, the chastity, the love for God, so made him, he is a Mahapurush. So Mahapurush, everybody cannot get. In the Ramakrishna order, there are two different names we see. One is for the Brahmanandaji, is Raja Maharaj. He is only one Raja, Maharaj. And Shivanandaji is Mahapurush. He is only one Mahapurush, that's all. And this Mahapurush, Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj, so he was born on 16th November 1854 in Bharasad in West Bengal. So his parents were, Ramakrishna Goshal and Vama Sundari. Actually, they were not having a male child, and the lady, Vama Sundari Devi, prayed to Tarakeshwar. She did a lot of penance and the pujas to get a male child. Through the prayers of Lord Tarakeshwar, this male child is born. That is why they named him Taraknath. So, then this Ramakrishna Goshal, his father, was so devoted and also Shakti worshipper. Sri Ramakrishna used to say about his father, Ramakrishna is a very advanced soul. So, he was a lawyer actually. He was doing a lot of service exactly like a Swami Vivekananda's father, whatever the possessions he has distributed among his relatives and who are in needy. That is why slowly, his income has come down. He doesn't have a proper, support his family. But, when he was Taraknath, when he was studying 8th standard itself, he had to take a job. So he went to Mughal Sarai and he was doing a job there in the railway department. Though he was there in Mughal Sarai, but always he used to spend a lot of time in meditation. So when he was sitting for a meditation, there used to be a doubt in him. So I am sitting and enjoying my meditation in hours together. What could be the Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Because the one who is enjoying the meditation hours together, he wants to know actually. Naturally, the mind says that, how could be the Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Then that always, that eager to know what is the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the desire to know what is the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Is there anyone who has attained the Nirvikalpa Samadhi? These questions always used to torment him. So then only they came to know that there is a Paramahamsa, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He lives in the Dakshineshwar suburbs, He experienced the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is how he came to know about Sri Ramakrishna. Because since we have a short time, I don't want to take you across the entire life. Somewhere here and there, I just try to share some of the glimpses. Then first time when he met the Sri Ramakrishna, you could see the man, so just getting into the samadhi and coming back to the samadhi. One writer writes about Sri Ramakrishna, in a day this man dies 20 times and again he takes life again 20 times. So that is how we could see that, Sri Ramakrishna now and then getting into the trance. Oh my God, that is what is tormenting my mind. This man, veritably experiencing the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is how we started going to the Sri Ramakrishna. And the desire to know about this Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he encountered with Sri Ramakrishna and said, Sir, I wanted to attend the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Then everybody asked, wants to enjoy Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, not now, but after some time what he has done, he has written a Bija mantra on his tongue. Immediately he has forgotten his whole world, entire thing. Because Sri Ramakrishna's way of giving initiation is sometimes, he touches, sometimes he writes some Bija mantra on the tongue. There are different ways, we don't know. So this Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda, Taraknath, so Sri Ramakrishna wrote some Bija mantra on the tongue. So thereby, he get into trance and he has forgotten all his outer consciousness. He lost his consciousness of the body. That is how he has experienced the first Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Sharadananda writes, and the great master, he writes, the moment Thakur touched Tarak's body, in him roused an upsurge of longing for God in Tarak's mind. All knots of his heart were loosened. Because Upanishad talks about Vidyate Hrudaya Grandhi Chiddante Sarva Samshayaha. Once you realize the Paramatma, all the doubts will vanish. The moment Sri Ramakrishna touched the Tarak's, wrote on the Tarak's, or touched the Tarak's body, or wrote some Bija mantra on the Tarak's tongue, immediately, all the knots simply loosened. That's all. There are upsurge that I must realize God. I should see the God. There is upsurge in longing for heart has arisen in his mind. That's what Sharadananji writes. Once he started coming to Sri Ramakrishna, once you are living in the fold of the God, God favors you so much, so everything is so favorable to him. Actually, he is a married person. In the Ramakrishna Order, there are 2-3 people are there, they are married people, but even then, they did not get into the worldly kalmasha at all. So, then slowly under Sri Ramakrishna's guidance, he was just growing spiritually. And when Sri Ramakrishna started staying in the Kashipur garden house, Swami Shivananda, that time he was not Swami Shivananda, Tarak and Narendra, Swami Vivekananda, and 2-3 people, because they were intense longing to realize God made them to go to Gaya. Because the Buddha ideal, sitting under the Bodhi tree and Ihasane Sustitam Shariram, let this body perishes till we get the Nirvana. I don't want to get up from this seat. That kind of ideas, that kind of vairagya, that kind of a longing, put them into, such a, longing for God. So they all went to Bodhagaya to experience that. And this person also went. Then Swamiji also saw him sitting in a meditation and hours together spending. He could see that, what a chastity, what a absorption in the meditation. That made him to give call Mahapurush also. It could be. And after going, all these people returned. So Sri Ramakrishna was asking that, where are these people? Where they have gone without telling? There somebody reported that, these people went to Bodhagaya. Is it so? Then after returning, looking at Taraknath, Sri Ramakrishna said, moving his index finger, he said, no spirituality anywhere. Point to himself, that means Sri Ramakrishna, he said, this time all is here. That's all. That is a wonderful statement. We are all fortunate that, we have come to a place where, the spirituality is flowing. Achandala pratihatarayo esya prema pravaha. We sing, that love is unconditional. It is flowing from the Sri Ramakrishna. This time all is here. You may roam wherever you please, but you will not find anything, that means spirituality, anywhere. Here all the doors are open. That comment, that remark, so gave him another, taking him to another state of mind that, Sri Ramakrishna is sole refuge for me. Generally, the many people, they ask why Ramakrishna Math, many people, why they don't come actually. The idea is that, they roam here and there. Finally, they don't find anything there. Ultimately, they come here. That is the reason Sri Ramakrishna himself said here. So this time all is here. You may roam wherever you please, but you will not find anything, spirituality, anywhere. Here, all the doors are open. So that is how now he is so much attached to Sri Ramakrishna after listening this statement. Then he spent his days in austerity and he has travelled. He came to Madras also to receive Swami Vivekananda. Then so many pilgrimage places, Varanasi, again Bodh Gaya, all these places he went and did the severe austerities. Then that we all know that, December 1886, Premanandji's mother invited after Sri Ramakrishna's passing away. So Baburam Maharaj, Swami Premanandji's mother invited all the would-be monks to the Antpur. They all went. Then only they performed the Viraja Homa, and Swami Vivekananda gave name to all the people. That is how he got the Swami Shivananda. Why Shiva name he has got, Shivananda? Actually, when you look at the Shiva, he is always inclined to be indrawn and withdrawn also. Sometimes he sits in the Kailash Parvata, he forgets the entire world, whether he is wearing a dress or not, without dress, like only just a skin, and he just meditates. Sometimes there is anything that he has to do, again he comes back. So, and also, he is always inclined to be indrawn and withdrawn. He is yet anxious for all good of the world. That is the reason. So, he is a Bala Sankara. Someone calls, immediately he comes. That is why his name has been given as Swami Shivananda. This is what is the early life. Then when we look at some silent qualities of Swami Shivananda, you will be wondered to see how this man lived up to the ideal. So beautiful. Some of the glimpses when you see, you will understand. He himself used to say, I am happy, I have realized the Purna, where we talk Purnamada Purnamidam, I have realized the infinite by the grace of the Master. This is the comment. That means you can understand the depth of the spirituality, the depth of the spirituality in him. I have realized the Purnatva, I have realized the infinity by the grace of the Sri Ramakrishna, I used to say. There are some other glimpses when we look at his life. So beautiful. When he was living in the monastery at Belur, whoever comes to him, so he only talks about Sri Ramakrishna, and there is just 15th December we have celebrated Holy Mother's birthday. Whenever there is a birthday of Holy Mother or Swami Vivekananda or Sri Ramakrishna, you could see not only the Belur Math premises the festivity mood, but people could see in him also. From the last 1 week, he has been experiencing a tremendous joy. Whoever comes to him, so tomorrow is the Holy Mother's birthday, Jagat Janani's birthday, Divine Mother's birthday. There is a preparation, there is a joy in him. So he used to live in the ideal. Thakur, Ma Swamiji, Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Swamiji is everything for him. That is what the living up to the ideal means. There is a celebration. Holy Mother birthday is coming. So he used to talk about tomorrow's Holy Mother birthday. There is a joy, expression of the joy, feeling, love, devotion, affection, everything people could see in him. That's how much he's enjoying tomorrow's Holy Mother's birthday means. Then Swami Kamaleshanandaji, one of his disciples, so he writes actually, Swamiji, so we wanted to study the Upanishads. Can you teach us? Then immediately the spontaneous remark from his mouth, he says, are you not studying our lives? Our lives are the veritable commentary on the Upanishads. If you study our lives, that is enough, as good as you have studied the Upanishads also. Because we read the Upanishads, we understand the Bhashya, but is there any person who has lived up to the ideal? There is a person, stands in front of you that, he himself says that, yes, look at our lives. They are the veritable commentary on the Upanishads. They are living what Upanishads says. They are living up to the ideal what Upanishads says. Then also he says, that light that I received from the Master, I am sharing with you all. That means the spirituality, the power of the spirituality, what we received, the grace that we have received from the Sri Ramakrishna, I am sharing with you all. The flame of one lamp lights another, that is how we are all connected. Because we are using Upanishad statement only, we are all connected. In what reason we are all connected? The Atman, the light, the Jyoti, Jyoti Gujvala Hrudikandar 630 we are going to sing. That Jyoti is connecting. Sutri Manigana Iva, Bhagavad Gita talks about it. So that is what immediately is quoting. The light that I have received from the Sri Ramakrishna, I am sharing with you all. The lamp of the light lights another lamp of the light. That is how we are all connected. The Atma, the God, the universal Paramatma, the consciousness is, connected with all of us. That is the reason he says. Then, see, look at the personality. When you read some incidents only, we will come to know what kind of person he is. Love overflows, the one who realizes the Atman, one who realized the Atman, the one who sees the God everywhere. That is what the pinnacle of the spirituality, the spiritual success means, you see the God everywhere. You see your own chosen deity, Sri Ramakrishna, everywhere. And for him, there is no difference, poor or rich or something low or high. There is no difference at all. Then one day what happened, Swami Apurvanandaji, who closely served Mahapurush Maharaj, he writes in his reminiscences, he writes, so one day Mahapurush Maharaj said, it seems, go and see downstairs, is there anyone waiting for me? And this Swami went downstairs and could see that one lady with so much agony and distress. Then he went and asked, so the lady said, I want you to see Mahapurush. Can I meet him? Is it time? Is the right time to meet him? Then Mahapurush only sent him that, is there any person, just please go and find him. Then immediately the lady started crying. She says, I led a sinful life. So I had kept a bad company. Though I was born in a Brahmin family, because of the bad company, I have gone astray. Then immediately, already Mahapurush Maharaj gave a news that there is some person is waiting, go and get her. So immediately, yes, please come. As soon as she was taken to the Mahapurush Maharaj, looking at the Mahapurush Maharaj, just before some time, she was altogether different. Looking at the Mahapurush Maharaj, completely she changed. Mahapurush Maharaj initiated her. And he said, now henceforth your all sins are washed away. So you are no more a sinful lady, you are just pure lady. Then Mahapurush Maharaj tells to Apurvanandaji, says, Sri Ramakrishna is the redeemer of fallen. So do you think that Sri Ramakrishna has come to only uplift only good people? He is the redeemer of the fallen. He came especially to uplift them. That's what Sri Ramakrishna said. When they were celebrating Sri Ramakrishna's birthday in Dakshineshwar, so there is a notice that, the women were not allowed, something like that. Because the monastic rules. Then Swami Vivekananda writes to Shashi Maharaj, Swami Ramakrishna, who said, who has printed this? Sri Ramakrishna has come to give moksha to all the people. You need not to distinguish between the women and men, or poor and rich, or sin and merit people. It is not that. Sri Ramakrishna has come to redeem all the people. Like this, Swami Vivekananda writes to Shashi Maharaj, there is a letter also. And immediately this man, Apurvanji, tells, what a Brahmajnani he is, how he came to know that the lady is waiting. They know that. So we have there, because that sinful lady, I have to give a mock, I have to give her, I have to redeem, I have to uplift her from their mental agony. That is what Mahapurush Maharaj did. Their heart overflows. So when you go to the Belur, there is a first floor where Swamiji's room, earlier he used to stay there, now his room also is there. Next to old shrine, his room is there. And when he used to sit and see, watch, many people used to catch the fish. There is one devotee, it's not the fisherman named Podar. So every day, Sri Ramakrishna, Mahapurush Maharaj used to see while he was catching the fish. So many times he could not see why he is not catching fish, why he is not catching fish. I could see him every day, but last few days, why I am not seeing? Immediately sent a message. Then he came to know that the Podar's wife passed away. So immediately his heart overflowed. No, how can he survive? Send him everyday food. So still, he gets to normal, he raises himself to get a normal income. Mahapurush Maharaj ordered the kitchen bandari to supply everything for him. That is what the love for the poor people, love for the downtrodden people. So this Brahmajnanis, like Mahapurush Maharaj and all, they are Brahmajnanis. Sometimes, they behave, their mind is always in elevated state. We can't understand what they ask. Sri Ramakrishna, when getting into the trance, immediately will say to bring down his mind. He says, get some water, or I wanted to eat this, I wanted to eat that. One day Mahapurush Maharaj said, I wanted to eat in a golden plate. Then the brahmachari who was serving, where will he get, that time the financial conditions of the mutt was very poor. Golden plate getting is not so easy. Then immediately this brahmachari was so brilliant. He immediately, the situational brilliance, he said, even they call it the banana, tender banana leaf also they call it is a golden plate only. Immediately, he said, he quoted some Sanskritam sloka, Maharaj, even the tender banana leaf also can be considered as a golden plate. Oh, yes, it's alright, fine, you bring it. Immediately the normal plate where he used to take food, above that they put a banana leaf, and Sarada was so happy like this. Then he says, the scriptures say the tender banana leaf is also called gold leaf. Okay, alright. So bring. So that is what their mind, that's what I'm talking about. Swami Apurvananji, one more incident, he says, the amount of spirituality that Mahapurush Maharaj has. So there is below, there is a mango tree is there, next to Swamiji's room in Belur Math. So Shivananda is looking at the mango tree. He made a comment. He says, his head is looking at the mango tree, his head is upright. And he says, point to the mango tree, he says, such a great amount of spiritual power accumulated here. If I tell to this mango tree, be liberate, immediately mango tree will be liberated. Can you imagine the words? How much spirituality is accumulated in me? Looking at the mango tree, if I say that, you will be liberated, means immediately the mango tree will be liberated. That much of spirituality is in him. That is what I wanted to say. Then when we look some more, there is a president of the order. When you see, there are so many beautiful incidents in Swami Shivananda's life. So, one day he says, what he says, Swami, when he was in Varanasi, Swami Nirbharananda, he says, that much, one day he says, this day is gone in vain, neither I have seen the master today, nor I have shed the tears for him. Then immediately, Mahapurush Maharaj says, so don't worry, you have seen and you will see Sri Ramakrishna. You have seen me and you will get to know about Sri Ramakrishna also. Then there are few other things also. As I said, you said, I have realized the Purna. This is not an ordinary statement. I have realized infinite means, not only he has seen the Sri Ramakrishna, even he had the Advaitic experience also. Purnata means he has seen the infinite also. Then, though he was, during the latter years, he was suffering from the physical ailments, but nobody could see that in his body is suffering. Someone goes and asks, Swamiji, how are you? Yes, I'm fine. Then, just now I came to know that, you are not well, you are not very well. Oh, you're talking about my body. Yes, body has got some problem, but I am fine. I'm always in blissful state. That means, totally he is disassociated himself with the body. He thinks that, he is the Atman, he is the consciousness, that's all. Whatever the suffering is that is taking place is not for me, for the body only. That is what is idea. Whoever goes, nobody could understand that, he is suffering from so many physical ailments. Nobody could understand. Always, such expression of the joy and the love, devotion. Any brahmachari comes, in the old shrine, in the Belur Math old shrine, the brahmacharis, when they clean, he used to say, hey, careful, Sri Ramakrishna walks here. See, if few water drops have fallen, how Sri Ramakrishna walks here? He may fell down. Clean it. That means for him, every moment, somebody says, he doesn't have his own identification at all. That is what Swami says. And he doesn't have any body consciousness at all. And sometimes, the human suffering would move him and open the floodgates of boundless compassion. Whoever comes, his attendants used to say, Maharaj, you are not well. Why you want to meet those people? Let them come afterwards. No, I should bless them. I should bless them. So the flood of gates are opened, because of the compassion towards the people. Then he says, when Swami writes there, so I have watched this Swami Mahapurush Maharaj, but he merged his identity with Sri Ramakrishna to such an extent, he has no separate individual existence at all. Always Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna. And how much The love for Sri Ramakrishna is there. Somebody showed a photo, sitting with Brahmanandji, Vivekananda and Mahapurush Maharaj. And looking at that photo, this rascal has stayed with these Mahapurushas, Brahmanandji and Vivekananda. By their grace and by the Sri Ramakrishna grace, this man also became a Mahapurush. Again, down to the heart humility. That is what we need to understand. Looking at those two photographs, staying with this great personalities, and I became a great, because they were call it Sahavasa dosha. That is why we call it Sajjana Sangatya is very, very important. And somebody asked, Swamiji, once you give up this physical body, then where will you go? So generally, when during the course of conversation, devotees will ask all these questions, right? Then where will you go once you give up your body? Then he says, I go to the Ramakrishna Loka. I eternally live with the Ramakrishna there. Then will you not reborn? Yeah, definitely I would be allowed to reborn with the Sri Ramakrishna. So I wanted to be happy and I love to reborn with the Sri Ramakrishna as his apostle. That is what he used to comment. Of course, we don't know whether Ramakrishna Loka is there. For the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, definitely there will be a Ramakrishna Loka also. So you imagine the Loka, if you read a book in a Go Forward by Swami Premashananji, it gives a beautiful description about the Ramakrishna Loka. There is a Ramakrishna Loka. It is only Adbhavam Tadbhavati, that's all. So there is a beautiful Sri Ramakrishna Loka where Kaliya Maharaj continuously, Abhedanandaji is continuously meditating on Sri Ramakrishna. And one corner of the Ramakrishna Loka, Swami Vivekananda is delivering lectures. And one corner of the Ramakrishna Loka, Swami Brahmanandaji, is always in divine consciousness. So like this, it gives a description. It's only the bhava only. Bhave na labate sarvam, bhave na deva darshanam, bhave na labate jnanam, tasmat bhavanulambanam. That bhavam tadbhavati. Imagine that, it appears in front of the Ramakrishna Loka also. Holy Mother continuously preparing dishes for their disciples. So all these things we can see with our own eyes only. The bhava, bhave or vibor in Bengali, they call it, you just fill with your bhava, you can see what not, so many things right in front of you. Sri Ramakrishna will become a child and see also. That is what is understanding. So these are the few glimpses I have spoken from his life. There are few teachings of his also we will see. So what are all the teachings? There are few teachings I will see. I will just tell you now. Few quotations I have written here. He says, great effort is required to make progress in the spirituality, but one sincerely wants to realize God. It is certainly true that he will receive his grace. So to require, to make progress in the spirituality, you have to put all your efforts. But one who wants sincerely God realization, definitely he will get his grace. That is what is understanding. You have to put all your efforts, but sincerely if you want God, and God also will be gracious to you. That is what is understanding. And one place he says, spiritual efforts without sincere love for God are fruitless. Sincere love is what counts. Love, that is what is important. Exactly we see in Mahapurush Maharaj's life, love for Sri Ramakrishna, love for Holy Mother. That love is altogether, it melts away, that's all. So there is a shloka says, the prema, ardram, it melts away your mind. When love for God comes into your heart, where we always troubled by the mind, because mind only, a lot of vrittis will be there. That is why they give a definition for the yoga is chitta vritti nirodha only. You have to remove all the vrittis that are troubling you a lot. But when the love for God comes into our hearts, it just overflows. That's all. Mind itself will not be there. It melts away. Where is the question of chitta vrittis and all? All the vrittis, everything just washed away. Mind itself will not be there. So that is why we see that when the devotees, those devotion levels are so strong in them. For them, there is no other world. Only one world is only the God world. That's all. Bhagavan Loka. That's all. There is no other world for them. They will not be troubled by the any vrittis at all, because mind itself melts away by their devotion. That is what he says. Spiritual effort without sincere love for God are fruitless. Sincere love is what counts. Repeating God's name brings strength to one's heart. There are many people, they ask, when I repeat the Lord's name, what will I gain? Then he says, repeating the God's name brings strength to one's heart. Never forget to repeat his name and pray to him constantly. That is what he says. So never forget. And pray to God constantly. And Sri Ramakrishna is residing in your very heart. He is your innermost self and also innermost self of all. Take refuge in him, pray to him. He will fill your heart with peace. He will remove all your wants. So generally the asha is only the troubles of, there are so many desires will trouble us. And the troubles in asha hi paramam dukkam, nairashyam paramam sukham. The more and more your desirous of something, you more and more you want something, definitely it brings dukkha. Swami Vivekananda writes in his letters to some of his brother disciples in so many letters, asha hi paramam dukkam, nairashyam paramam sukham. So he says, because of asha, the desires only, always we are troubled. But he says, Sri Ramakrishna is residing in your very heart. He is your innermost self and also inmost self of all. Take refuge in him, pray to him. He will fill your heart with peace. He will remove all your wants. There will not be any wants at all. Only one want is, that is what? Realization of the God. Because in Bhagavad Gita, in one shloka says, so nitya truptaha nirashrayaha. You don't depend upon anyone actually. Nirashrayaha. For your happiness, you need not to depend upon anyone. Because when we look at this world, for our happiness, we depend upon so many material objects. But the one who has love for God, he does not it doesn't need to depend upon any external object. Not necessary. Of course, depending on means, taking food and all, not dependence is a nitya avasara, that's all. You just take sustain your body, that's all. But the nirashraya means he will only depend on only one God. One God means only one entity called God, that's all. He doesn't want to depend upon any outside object. Only he depends on only one object called God. That's all. And because he depends upon a right person, he is always nitya truptaha, ever content. That's all. So that is what he says. So once again, I just recap all the qualities of Mahapurush Maharaj. Because why he is called Mahapurush Maharaj? Because of unbroken chastity. And also, the love for God. And when he sits for the meditation, totally complete absorption in the chosen ideal, that made him, or that is what is quality, that is the reason, so in the Ramakrishna order, we all call him Mahapurush Maharaj. And Mahapurush Maharaj. And because why his pre-monastic name is Tarakeshwar? Because these parents, Ramkanai Goshal and Vama Sundari, they don't have a male child. That is why they pray to Tarakeshwar, Lord Tarakeshwar Shiva. That is the reason out of the prayers only this male child is born. That is why he was named as Taraknath Goshal. And since from the childhood he used to meditate long hours, but when he was enjoying his meditation doing long hours, naturally mind says what could be the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. He wanted to know, is there anyone who has experienced Nirvikalpa Samadhi? That is how he came to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And looking at Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's Nirvikalpa Samadhi, off and on he is getting into the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. He became his disciple. And Sri Ramakrishna gave mantra diksha by writing a Bija mantra on his tongue. Thereby he experienced the first Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Under Sri Ramakrishna's guidance, he progressed in spiritual progress has taken place, lot of spiritual progress. And to realize God, the longing for God increased day by day. They all went to Bodha Gaya to meditate there, and they wanted to realize. After returning, Holy Sri Ramakrishna said, you need not to be anywhere. You serve me and you just be here, that's all. This is everywhere, wherever you go, you don't find the real spirituality. This time the spirituality is here only, and you just need not to go anywhere. That changed his mind totally and completely surrendered to Sri Ramakrishna. And 1886 December, when they all went to Antpur, then they performed the Virza Homa, and Swami Vivekananda gave name Shivananda to Taraknath, because the Shiva means, he's always inclined to be indrawn and withdrawn, and yet anxious for all and good of all. That is the reason. See, his name has been given as Swami Vivekananda gave name to Taraknath as Swami Shivananda. So now and then he used to say that, I'm happy that I have realized the Purna. I have realized infinite. Infinite I have realized by the grace of the Master. That means, he has reached the pinnacle of the spirituality. Once you realize that's infinite, that's all over matter ends. Even though he, during the latter part of the life, even though he was suffering with the bodily ailments, but he never expressed that he was suffering from bodily ailments, because he dissociated himself with the body. He knows that he's an Atman, the pure consciousness. Any devotee goes and asks him, Swamiji, how are you? How? Then said I'm fine. When someone says that, just now we came to know that you are not well. Oh, you're talking about the body. Yes, body is suffering, but I am not suffering. I am Sachidananda. Sachidanandam, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. And so then the love, the outposts. There are few incidents when you look at his life, how he gave help to the fishermen, how he initiated the fallen women. All these incidents shows that, that love is overflowing actually. Love, the compassion is war. That is a sign of the spirituality. Once you realize the Paramatman, once you realize the infinity, the same infinity is expressing everywhere. Then, they come forward to help the people, because they have the strength. They have the strength. That is why he could say that, what you are talking about the Upanishads. We are living the Upanishads, what they talk about, the philosophy of the Upanishads, we are living up to that. Just study our life, that is sufficient. That is very, very bold statements. So these are all the things, when you come to know about Mahapurush Maharaj, especially when we read For the Seekers of God, for us, those who have got the devotional bent of mind, for them that book is very, very wonderful. And the simple quotations, what I have read, I picked up from that book only, from that book, For Seekers of God only. All simple teachings. Great effort is required to make progress in the spirituality. But one sincerely wants to realize God. It is certainly true that he will receive his grace. The spiritual effort without sincere love for God are fruitless. Sincere love is what counts. We need to check ourselves whether sincerely we are loving Sri Ramakrishna or not. That only counts. Repeating God's name brings strength to one's heart. Never forget to repeat his name and pray to him constantly. Sri Ramakrishna is residing in your very heart. He is your own innermost self and also the inmost self of all. Take refuge in him. Always we need to remember this idea actually. Once we are coming to the mat, Sri Ramakrishna residing in my heart. He is your innermost self, inmost self. He is there sitting in your heart and guiding you. And at the same time, we need to remember also as also the innermost self of all. This often we forget this idea actually. We feel sometimes now and then we bring that idea that Sri Ramakrishna is sitting. At the same time, we need to bring another idea also. Sri Ramakrishna also is sitting in all the human beings also who are coming, who are there outside the world. Take refuge in him, pray to him. He will fill your heart with peace. He will remove all your wants that are obstructing in your spiritual life. So with this, I pray to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Swami Vivekananda and Swami Shivananda Maharaj. So they all should guide us in a right path with the right understanding. Thereby, we'll be able to reach our spiritual goal. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhruta Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Sirasa Namami. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.